This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
They are hiring in 3 of their locations, Doral, Bird Road, and Miami Lakes. They're hiring for all kinds of positions. And the Sports Grills are looking forward to being at Sports Grill in Doral for the pre- and post-game shows for the Miami Dolphins this season. How are you doing, my man? You're at the rink, huh?
I'm at the rink.
I can tell.
The Capital just stepped on the ice for their morning skates.
I was talking with the Dorkster right before you, and I think this is a legacy moment for Barkov, Huberdeau, and Ekblad. I could throw in there too, but those guys have to. I need a John Morant-like performance in Game 2 against the Warriors. You know what I'm saying? I need you to come back pissed off. You know, go ahead.
As a team, yes, but it's not like basketball where you can have a guy go off.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
You know, it's not the same thing. But
impose your will is what I'm saying. Impose your will is what I'm saying. That Barkov and Huberdeau can impose their will, right? You can do that in hockey.
It's a lot easier for Barkov to do it because his game is better suited for the playoffs than Huberdeau's game is. Because if you remember what Huberdeau does in the regular season, is those dazzling passing plays, finding people open, but he does it by creating a lot of space and time for himself, and that's not there in the playoffs to the same level. So that's what his game suffers more from the switch from the regular season to the playoffs than maybe just about anybody in the league. So, but as a whole, they need to do. Obviously, to come back, and they can't afford the bad mistakes that they made on Tuesday night, like Mackenzie Weegar trying to stick handle when he's the last line of defense, which is hockey 101. As they say in the movie Slapshot, you don't do that. And then on the game-winning goal, Claude Giroux is even up with TJ Oshie, who's not a great skater, and lets him skate by him to get in position to tap in the pass for the game-winning goal. So it was little things, and the problem is because the game is so much tighter in the playoffs, the margin for error decreases, so you can't have those kinds of mistakes and live to talk about that.
I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. All right. I don't know if you heard what I was talking about earlier because somebody was bringing up the whole thing with Mike McDaniel. And one of the things that, watching the F1 stuff this week and everything else that's gone on, I think he's done a marvelous job of communicating and setting creating a bridge with his players to try to at least, hopefully down the line, maximize what he can get out of them. Do you agree or disagree? What do you like about or dislike about how Mike McDaniel is approaching his head coaching stint?
No, there's nothing to dislike about it. I have no problem with it. I would caution against overstating the impact because I think come September, all the bonding that they're doing in May is going to mean a little more than crap, to be very honest with you.
If you don't win, yes, you're right.
No, forget it. Forget if you don't win. It's going to come down to game plan and execution and having the respect of the players. And then 17th down the line is what kind of rapport the coach has with the players. So that's why it's great. Mind you, I'd much rather have that than have the coach have a major disconnect with the players. I mean, that's clearly
we've watched it. We've watched it with Gase and Flo. That
with certain players, with certain players, there's a complete disconnect. But ultimately, that's not. I don't think that's ultimately what caused. With Flo, I think it's part of a bigger picture of of dealing with people. I don't think with Gase, again, it was part of the picture, but not. Ultimately, comes on to game plan execution, X's and O's, much more so than the other stuff.
Oh, I agree with you, but I just think it when you're an unknown commodity, I don't think it helps you to come in and be the bully on the block. You know what I'm saying? It's just Like I was saying before, it's just when you're unproven, you have to prove to people first before you can actually act like Don Shula. You can act like Don Shula when you're Don Shula, and you can act like Pat Riley when you're Pat Riley. And you can mother F anybody you want because you're Pat Riley, bro. Here are the rings to freaking prove it. You know what I mean? I know what I'm doing. You don't. Shut the hell up and do what I'm telling you. And you have to, you know, when Vince Lombardi says it, you have to do what he says and shut the hell up. But if you're Adam Gase or you're Brian Flores, I think you're better off trying to be Mike McDaniel in the early part of your career.
True, but again, I would look at Flo and look at the one-loss record versus the realistic level of talent on the roster, and I would tell you that he overachieved big time in 2019, maybe to the detriment of the franchise in the long term. But that's a different. But he
did
story.
overachieve. He did those 5 games with no talent.
And I would tell you the 2020 team. I don't look at that roster and I don't see 10-6, and they were 10-6. So obviously he did something right, no matter how bad his relationships were with the players. The other factor here involved is it's 2022. The badass style of coaching, the I'm the boss, I talk, you listen, doesn't fly quite as much as it did in 1970 or 1980.
We don't have a lot of those guys in the league, actually.
Correct.
Think about that.
Yep.
It's Belichick, because even Pete Carroll's not like that, actually. You know what I'm saying? And you look at Sean McVay, and you look at the Shanahans and the LaFleurs and all these kind of coaches, and they're not like those old school. Even our own coaches that we grew up with as kids that were verbally abusive, and it was like normal to be verbally abusive. It has completely changed, dude. It's not like that at all, pretty much.
Correct. And it plays even worse if, you know, the second things start going south. But again, going back to the relationship issue, if we're going to pinpoint Flores having bad relationships with everybody in the locker room, then how did he not?
Not everybody,
well,
but
okay, but with a lot. But then,
yeah.
But he still kept the team together when they were 1-7, and nobody quit on him. So give him props for that.
I have a problem with that.
Go for it.
I think we, and this is a general thing, I think that we disrespect players as professionals overall, because you and I have worked in shitty situations and we still do our job and we're still professionals. I've worked with bad bosses. Hell, I've worked with people that are stealing my money, and I'm still working my ass off the way I'm supposed to work. So I think a lot of players play hard and do their jobs because they're true professionals, like a lot of us that are paid to do our jobs. And no matter how shitty our boss is or how bad our company may be, we take pride in what we do. This thing about, well, they played for him, I don't believe that that's always the case in every team, actually. I think in most cases, when you see players playing hard, it's because in most cases, they're professionals and they give a shit about what they do.
Fair point.
I'm just saying.
But fair point. But I would counter that with, we have also seen some teams completely check out.
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
So it's you know, there's a balance there. I just don't think, you and I have talked about this before. I think a lot more about.
But usually when they check out, it's so dysfunctional. You know, Cameron dysfunctional like that's, and even with Cameron, let me tell you, they played hard almost all the way to the end is when they really like tuned them out, actually. They still played pretty hard during that season.
But they didn't respect him, and that's the
no, they
difference.
didn't respect him.
Well, and the thing with Flo is, I absolutely would believe that a lot of the players couldn't stand him, but I don't think there are many players on that team who did not respect him, and that to me is always the most important factor.
What'd you pick up from all the F1 stuff?
It's right there on their on their turf. So it's, to me, it actually would have been shocking if they weren't involved or doing the social media stuff and all that. No, I mean, it's cool.
Okay.
Nothing more than that.
Okay, another question. Did you watch any of the? Do you watch the videos that the Tua's trainer puts out?
I wind up seeing them a lot of times, and I'm going to tell you right away, they mean crap to me.
Okay, did you watch the last one that shows the progression of his throws and his hip and all that kind of stuff? Have you watched that? No, probably.
No. I did see it now with a microscope, and I'm like, am I supposed to see something different here? I mean,
oh, you couldn't tell?
No.
You couldn't tell the more zip on the ball and really?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
No.
All right. All right.
I mean, he's a professional quarterback on the field.
There's a faster twitch to his body, and the ball came out a little faster, bro. It did. I mean, you can tell that he's probably as healthy as he's been now since that hip injury. You know, it may be that might be something also that well, there's no doubt in my mind that was something that was holding him back a little bit too, that he probably wasn't still fully healthy yet.
Not buying it. Sorry, not buying it. Not buying it.
No, I know. I know you don't believe. I know you don't think the kid can play, but I get it.
No. Do not misquote me. Do not misquote me. I never said the kid couldn't play. Not on top of that,
I mean, you don't think he's a franchise quarterback, is what I'm saying.
I have my until proven otherwise at this moment. No, I don't believe so.
Right.
I have told you.
That's what I mean by it.
I have told you. I can't play at an elite level. I have told you this year. This year, I would expect his passer rating to me is going to be in the high 90s, maybe even approach 100. And and when they ask him to throw a lot of short passes and let Waddle and Tyreek Hill yak it out, he's going to be very effective in what he does. When push comes to shove, how far can that take the team? How does that work when you're playing at key moments against like the Tennessees and the Buffaloes down the stretch where you need to win? And everything is not working.
Oh, I don't think that's an issue, bro. You're asking about it. All he needs to do, like any great quarterback, is make 3 or 4 really key throws in games, and I think he'll be able to make those. When you have time to throw, if you have a running game, and if you have real coaching, those things will come for him. But if you don't have real coaching and a real offensive line or a running game, that's why the doubt that you have creeps in. You look at it as excuses, but it's the mere reality that it's impossible to succeed with all that shit around you. That's all.
If you need everything around you to be elite, you're not elite. I've said that before.
I know. I guess Joe Montana didn't have elite around him.
I didn't say he didn't have elite. I said if you need everything to be elite around you, you're not elite.
And what elite quarterback took a shitty team to a title?
I'm not talking title. They're elite. They're elite quarterbacks. Did Dan Marino was Dan Marino elite?
Yeah, but he needed help, and he didn't have enough help.
Well, time out.
He didn't have enough help. He didn't have a right side of the line. Didn't have a running game. Didn't have a defense, and that's why he didn't win jack shit.
But he was elite. It was clear to see he was elite. He was a quarterback that you watch play and you go, holy shit, that guy's elite. Not once in 2 years have we seen that come through.
And elite quarterbacks still need elite around them in order to win. Because the elite Dan Marino got to the Super Bowl and he ran into the elite Joe Montana, who had an elite defense, an elite running game, an elite offensive line, things that Dan Marino did not have. And that's why Joe Montana won and Dan Marino did not. Because even Dan Marino needs help. And that's the part that I think some folks don't understand, because that statement you said right now, well, if he needs everything to be elite, then he can't succeed. Well, guess what? Dan Marino didn't succeed. That's why he didn't have elite around him, so he didn't succeed.
I didn't say that. I said if you need everything around you to be elite, you're not elite. You can be elite without having everything around you. And my point is if everything around Tua is elite. The offensive line kicks ass with pass protection. If the running game is averaging 4 or 5 a carry, and if Hill and Waddle yak it up like crazy, Tua's going to have a lot of success. That doesn't necessarily mean
it doesn't translate to winning big, because if it did, then Tannehill would have won the title, and
Jimmy Garoppolo went to the Super Bowl,
and Teddy Bridgewater and Kirk Cousins would have won a title because Minnesota's had what it needs in order to win.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Hold on.
Stafford, by the way, Matt Stafford was elite, but in Detroit. Now you go to the Rams, and hell, he didn't even have to play elite, and they won a Super Bowl.
Big O, is Jared Goff elite?
No.
Is Jimmy Garoppolo elite?
No.
They both went to the Super Bowl.
I like Garoppolo.
They both went to the Super Bowl.
I know, because they had elite teams around them.
But they're not elite. That's exactly the point I'm making. They're not elite. I see Tua potentially falling into that same category until I see something else. That's what I'm saying. And this is why, it's also why, because of the offensive system that's very quarterback friendly, I can easily see Tua with a 101, 102 passer rating in 2022, just like Goff had, just like Garoppolo had, and still leave the 2022 season thinking that maybe he's not an elite quarterback.
Oh, no, but see, here's the difference between you and I. Garoppolo doesn't make the throw in the Super Bowl that Tua will make. He doesn't overthrow the guy in the end zone. That's where you and I are different. That's why I think Tua is elite and will be elite, because he's an elite passer. He's an accurate passer. So if you're an accurate passer and you can make them – I saw it in Alabama. That's something that Garoppolo and Goff never did, my man. That's the problem that I have with all of this. Everybody has this short memory that they keep forgetting that the kid is elite, because when he has elite around him, he'll light your ass up. But because he had garbage for 2 years here, all of a sudden he can't play. All of a sudden he can't be elite. All of a sudden he can't be a franchise quarterback. This is crazy.
Okay, Big O. Because you talk about all the circumstances around him being so bad. Okay.
Terrible.
In the last 3 years, Jacoby Brissett, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Tua Tagovailoa were the 3 starting quarterbacks.
Yep.
Against playoff teams. Take a wild guess of the 3 who has the best passer rating versus playoff teams against good opponents.
I guess it's Brissett, the way you're saying it.
The low. I forget if it was Brissett or Fitzpatrick. The lowest was Tua, easily. Okay, yeah. And then you go to college. Tua completely kicked ass, but when he was playing top 25 teams, he was good. He wasn't the kick-ass player he was.
Yeah, but see, again, here goes. That's a terrible comparison on your part, because dude, you can't compare a rookie.
I disagree.
My man, you can't compare a rookie that just came out of college, that is just seeing NFL defenses, to a Fitzpatrick that has played in chaos his entire career for 16, 15 years, coming out of the bench, playing against chaos. So he's used to playing in that environment. So he's going to adjust quicker than Tua. Now, 5 years from now, when Tua has 8 years under his belt, then all of a sudden, all that chaotic stuff, he'll be able to handle it a lot easier. But you can't compare a young kid coming out of college to 2 guys that have bounced around the league and have seen a lot more. They're going to be able to adjust to things a little faster, a little quicker. But Tua doesn't have that experience at this level. So to do that is not a fair comparison when one guy's played under chaos his entire career.
Except again, it's excuse after excuse. Look,
excuse. That's reality.
Dude, for every argument that somebody makes against you, and dude, if he balls out in key games or in the Super Bowl, I will admit,
I'll tell you you're wrong. You don't have to admit it. I'll tell you you're wrong.
Trust me, I know you will. Okay,
I will. Trust me.
But I have not seen any signs of it, and until otherwise, I don't see it. And no offense, but the two believers like yourself, for everything you have an excuse. And to me, I would see elite signs. I would see any sort of elite signs. Even I'm not looking purely at numbers. there's nothing that I ever see from him where it's like, look at that.
Really, and you never saw in Arizona some.
That's one game, and it was marginally elite. I mean, I saw Burrow even as a rookie. Justin Herbert.
The throw he made on the right side hash to Devontae Parker. That's as elite a throw as it gets in the NFL. He anticipated the defender and threw it opposite of the defender. That's as elite as it gets a throw in the NFL. The anticipatory skills he had on that throw was sick.
Was that against
Go back
Arizona?
and look at that throw.
I'll look at it.
That throw is that's as elite as if you can make that throw, you can make any throw in the NFL. Actually, that throw he made. Go watch that throw. For him to anticipate where the defender was and to place it opposite before that break, that was super impressive on his part. That's a hell of a throw. He had a really good game in that Arizona game. He wasn't was he terrible in the Rams game where he got his ass slammed by Michael Brockers?
He was horrible.
I mean, he made us a couple of throws in that game too.
Dude, he threw for 90 yards. They won because they had a fumble return for a touchdown, a punt return.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, and a fumble return to the 1 yard line. So, yeah,
no, you're right. That one he wasn't good, which is the one I'm thinking of. That he had another game against a good team that he played well. I'm trying to remember which one it is now, but he's had a couple of games. Problem is, you guys want him to have every game when you have a terrible team.
No, that's not true.
Yeah, no, it is true. It's a terrible team.
Big O. Not only
it's a terrible offense.
Hold on. Not only that, I defended Tua in the Denver game when he got pulled, saying the offensive line never gave him a chance. Okay, I defended him because it wasn't fair to say that Tua sucked and he got pulled. No, he didn't have a chance that game because the offensive line was really bad. By
the way, this guy makes a point. He was good in the Chiefs game with Mahomes. He wasn't bad in that game.
Yeah, he was great in the fourth quarter when they were down 30-10. And the Chiefs was like, well, dude, I'm going to roll my eyes too. I mean, he wasn't good in the first three quarters, and the game was done. And last point before I have to go do some NHL.com duty here. That last Buffalo game in the 2020 season.
In the playoffs or something? What are you covering?
Yeah, I know. Tom Wilson not playing for the Capitals, by the way, in case for Panther folks out there. The 2020 game against Buffalo, the season finale, I came to his defense as well, that he wasn't nearly as bad as everybody made out to be. He didn't play well, but there was drops all over the place that game. The entire offense was garbage. So anyway, look, it'd be great if the kid balled out in 2022.
Oh, you will.
I need to see it. I'm a skeptic, you know that. So on that note, have a great weekend, Big O.
All right, be good. Go get some Hokie action. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL and subscribe to his Sports Illustrated page.